Want to say good evening and welcome to this edition of Sisters Strengthening Sisters. I'm your host, Lady D, along with my beautiful co-host, Dr. Elder Lois. How are you today?
I'm good.
That's good. We told you that every now and then we find a phenomenal young man that we bring on the show for Sisters Strengthening Sisters. And today we have found an amazing young man. I've been knowing him for some years. We've worked together on different projects, and now he's working on his own project, which is very special in his eyes because it's something that he enjoys and loves doing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest so you can have an idea of who our guest is and things that he's going to be talking about. Tyrone was born in Philadelphia and relocated with his family to Pleasantville, New Jersey at the age of 12 following the proliferation of gang violence in Philadelphia. His interest in art is one of his first memories at age 14. His mother Ann bought Tyrone his first acrylic paint set because she saw his hidden talent. With no formal training, over the years Tyrone developed a style which allowed him to express some of his deep emotions. Tyrone primarily uses oils and acrylics and focuses foremost on portraits. However, he also has painted landscape and used pen and ink as a medium. Tyrone has always desired to see more of our heroes depicted in charcoal that reflected more of the community that he was raised in. He has been commissioned to do portraits for private citizens. Among his favorite artists are Henry Ossawa, Tanner, Jacob Lawrence, Vincent van Gogh, and Claudette Monet. Those names, wow, okay? Tyrone has always been an activist, always advocating for his people, which sometimes gets him into trouble. This starts as a small child in 1968 when his father took him and the family to the first march on Washington for the Poor People's Campaign. Remembering in vivid detail, in particular, the tent city, or what others would call Resurrection City. The white tents had a profound effect on Tyrone, not knowing at the time what all that meant. He would come to know the full meaning of that day, and it has had a lasting effect on him. We're going to allow for this young man to tell us a lot more about himself. He has exhibited in numerous venues as a featured artist. Tyrone's first major exhibit was at the African American Heritage Museum of South Jersey, located in Newtown, New Jersey. At that time, now located at 2200 Fairmont Avenue in Atlantic City. Founder Ralph E. Hunter, as well as part of the multicultural arts exhibits. So we are going to let him tell us a little bit about how he got started in this business of art, the charcoal, and about his event that he has coming up that will tell us a whole lot more about what it is that he does.
Well, let me tell you first about the event that...
First, welcome.
Thank
welcome
you.
to Sisters
Good to
Strengthening
see you.
Sisters.
Yes, long time, yes. On the 27th of February, I'm having an event at Mount Zion Church where the pastor is Dr. Willie Dwayne Francois III, and we're having an art exhibit of my work, 30 pieces of charcoal. It's called a study in charcoal. It's like what you see here. Now, the reason why I did this was because of Black History Month. Mm-hmm. What is occurring now, it ain't new. It's what they've been trying to do. They're trying to erase us from history.
Right.
They're talking about CRT, critical race theory. Mm-hmm. Not want to get all into that. Suffice it to say, the bottom line of that is that we are supposed to forget our ancestors. we're supposed to forget what happened to our ancestors.
Mhm.
We're supposed to fall in line and be good Americans. Nah, I'm too old for that. I mean, I just do not buy that.
And it's okay to be good Americans, but it's no way on God's earth that we're going to ever forget the struggles that our ancestors had went through to bring us to where we're at today.
But that's what they want you to do.
Right.
Because they say the more you bring it up, you making us, meaning the other people, the bad guys. Well, for 200 years, 200 years, what have you been doing?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, that was my motivation, because I have not seen a lot of black art of our ancestors
Right.
depicted in charcoal. I mean, everybody does all the painting and they do the big three, Martin Luther King,
Right.
you know, and the same with Black History Month.
Mm-hmm.
But our story is vast, it is large. We need to know it and we need to share it. So my basic desire is to burn it in. When you see these pictures, it's not like a photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does photographs. But when you see these pictures, sometimes they have a visceral response,
Right.
meaning that you actually feel what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my goal, so that kids and adults that may have forgotten can renew in memory and move on from there.
Right.
That's my goal.
Right. And so tell us about the event that's coming up in February. Right?
It's in February, and we have a lot of people coming. We have some guest speakers. Ralph Hunter is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have a light buffet. So it's like 3 o'clock, so you won't have to go home from church and just come on by, see what's happening over at Mount Zion, and
Right.
check me out.
And you said you have 30-something pictures now. Who are some of the other pictures of?
George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tatiana Ali, a whole list.
And why did you choose those particular artists?
Well, at the time, you know, we were going through the COVID thing, and I'm sitting around the house, and I was already frustrated about what was happening to us as a people. So I was scanning the YouTube, and I see these guys showing people how to use charcoal, and I had forgotten that this is what I do.
Right, right.
You know, and the thing about that, before I move on to that, is that when you don't have like-minded people surrounding you,
Mm-hmm.
you seem to forget.
Right.
You know, if there are more artists that I can get in contact that does my kind of work, you know, and it inspires you, and you keep going. But when it was just you, and you didn't know nobody else, then you're gonna forget about it.
Right, right.
And so, what was happening to us? I says, I can't march anymore because I gotta have my knees replaced.
Right.
So this is the best thing that I could do
Okay.
as a protest to what's happening. Okay, since I can't march and I can't follow the people, because I would have been with Expressway 7 when they got popped.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason why I wasn't, because I was on the other side of the city and I couldn't walk as far as they walked.
Right, right.
But if they,
right.
if I was able to, yeah, I'd have been a part of the Expressway 7. Saying this to say, I said that to say this, that I chose those who were lives was taken from them by police unjustly.
Right.
And the best, with all the frustration as a black male, that frustration pins up into you, or pins up.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have a release.
Right.
My only release was to grab a piece of charcoal, pencil, an eraser, piece of paper, and put my protest on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But now, after I've done 8 or 9 of them, I couldn't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I had a visceral response. I relived each moment when I'm doing this, like with Emmett Till. This took me a week and a half to do
Right.
because it was too much emotion, because you keep remembering
Exactly.
and then you just get frustrated all over again. So over years, the 30 pieces that you're gonna see in a couple of weeks was over a year and 4 months done.
Wow. Wow.
And it expresses,
The way you feel, you know, and the things that were going on at that particular time. And like you said, And during COVID, this was the perfect time for you to get your artwork together, and to do these different pictures that you have, and that's just awesome, because that's a beautiful picture, in a beautiful frame, and I'm sure that you're going to get some buyers for them.
And you said something so important. It is important that we know our history.
Yes.
And I know it sounds like a cliche, but you need to know your history so you don't repeat it.
Right.
That's the key.
You need to know your history so you appreciate the things that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people all the time, if there were ever a group of people that needs to vote, it's us.
Right.
Because somebody died to give you that right.
That's right.
Somebody got their head busted open.
Mm-hmm.
Some woman was raped so that you can vote, and you need to know that to understand where you came from and where you're going.
Yeah, because the enemy is out there trying to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't care how you look at it or what your philosophy is.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, we are dying in the street.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We are dying in the street, and they say that it's legal to do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, we have to remember what's going on.
And it's not just us. At one point they started attacking the Asian community. At one point they were attacking
Oh, they still are.
Right, the
Yeah.
Jewish community.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's important. And the foundation of the civil rights movement was love.
Right.
That we can get through this, you can treat each other equal if we love each other, if we see each other as brothers and sisters. And everybody's life means something.
Yes.
Life means something. And we're at a time now where we are seeing those that perpetrate these crimes are being brought to justice, because it was the time when there was just no justice.
Right.
It was just swept under the rug, and it's like that life didn't mean anything. So we are living, in a time where we are seeing justice for some of these horrific acts.
Right.
But we have to keep it forever in front of the people.
Yeah, well, they call me the bad guy because they say I'm negative. Well, I'm not negative. I'm just not going to ignore what you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about it is that our youth need to learn about their history,
They do.
because a lot of the youth really don't know, about the history from back in the day, from way back.
That's the other reason why.
And they need to be taught this, because they're really not teaching it in the schools. Who's teaching Black history in the schools about what happened and what our ancestors did, and how the air condition that's running was made by a Black man, and how the traffic light was made by a Black man, and how the broom and the straightening comb and things of that nature.
But you don't get that taught in schools.
Right. You have to. That's things that parents have to teach their children on their own, because they're not teaching it in school. And then when we did have Black history, when I was in school, we would learn very little about Black history, Du Bois or somebody like that, but not enough Black history so that we feel like we're important. And that's what I want the young people to feel, as though you are somebody, you are important, you are here for a reason. There's things that we should be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't just be February, the month of February. It should be taught all year round.
Bingo.
When you understand, because honestly, I didn't get a Black history course till I started college.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. I mean, we did learn about Martin Luther King, and like you said, some of the the writers and stuff, but to actually have a Black history course, I didn't get one till I got to college. And I can remember, I think I might have been in junior high school when Roots came out.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody remember Roots?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I couldn't even watch the whole thing.
Well, my mom would sit down with us and watch it. We were allowed to watch it, but then she would explain certain things, because we I was so young like that. Well, why are they doing that? And why are they doing that? And she would explain it to us. So that was really maybe my first course in Black history when Roots came out.
Right.
But when I got in college, I took, I started taking Black history course, and things like that. But it's important to know your history so that you know that you're not inferior.
Everybody else know their history.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that you know that you're not inferior, and like you said, you know that you're somebody that we have made contributed greatly to societies. We're inventors. We're doctors. We're lawyers. You know, we're astronauts. We're all different things, types of things. So anything that you aspire to do, you can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's it's not you shouldn't be held back because of whatever your ethnicity is. Because I remember when I started to go, when I wanted to go to college. Now, if I hadn't listened, unfortunately, to everybody around me, I wouldn't have went. Because everybody was telling me, no. And I even had people telling me, you're not college material. And I remember thinking in my mind, how can you tell me I'm not college material and you ain't never been?
Right.
So how are you telling me that? Not to mention, I was on a roll student.
Right.
So, I had that mindset. Who are you to tell me that I can't go to school? I can't achieve this.
See, that's what we need to teach more of our kids. Just what you just said.
Yes.
You said a mouthful that, believe it or not, our own people not even teaching it.
Yeah, so we have to get back to that. I'm a former school teacher. And, and telling our kids, yes, you can do this, because they're hearing what I heard when I came up. But thank God for that stubborn spirit that I had.
Right.
Yes, I can do this. And that's what we need to tell our people. What did Obama say? Yes, you can. We got to get back to telling them, yes, you can. It's not fantasy if you want to be a doctor. It's not fantasy if you desire to be an astronaut. It's not fantasy if you want to be a lawyer.
That's right.
That you can do those things,
and
then they will start to value themselves and start to value life. Because when you see these young people, I call them babies because that's all they are, killing each other.
And that's the reason why I said the parents need to show their children about our culture. Because a lot of times when the children look at things like Roots and the stuff, a lot of the movies that are out during the Black History Month, it seemed like they put the worst ones out during Black History Month. It makes these children very bitter, and it makes you as an adult bitter as well, and you start feeling the same way all over again, because now you're seeing this movie all over again, and you're starting to feel some kind of way just because of what they did to us. And then the young Black men and Black boys are definitely feeling some kind of way. And then that's what, I'm not saying that's what makes them go out there and kill, because that shouldn't even be a reason for them to do that. But it makes them so bitter on the inside, when it comes to our own culture.
But when you understand, what we have achieved as a people, then you don't accept being treated like that.
Right.
That's the key.
You don't accept that. No, I am not going to be treated like this because of what? Because it's color of my skin, or because I'm a female, because whatever my ethnic background is.
Right.
Then you don't accept that. When people say that's all you're going to be and all this other stuff that I heard when I was coming up.
Or you're never going to be this,
or you're never going to be that. Or I remember when I was teaching high school, the young men would call the girls bees. And they would answer, and I'd be like, no, sweetheart, honey, that is not your name.
Right.
You know what I mean? You are not a female dog. So you don't respond when they call you that. Now, when I was in school, if someone called you that, you got into a fight.
Right. On and popping.
Right.
That's who right. You calling them, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody's brother was looking for you.
Exactly.
So I said, we have to teach them that they're more than that. No, you are not a bee. You're not, a hoe and all these other things that they're calling these rap videos.
And today, in today's society, there's a percentage of women that seems to think that this is okay, that it's all right, and I listen to some of the songs and I say, wow, some of the stuff that they say in their songs and what they're doing and how they're doing it and stuff, and it's okay with them to go ahead and say that. It's okay with the parents that their children are listening to this kind of filth, because that's what it is, and it's not okay. It's not okay for them to listen to it, because it is so much more good music that they can listen to. You know, aside from being called all these different names, you know, I've never been one of those women, even growing up, that would ever accept that, because like you said, we was ready to fight. You know, and I definitely was one of those women that was ready to fight. You call me a what?
That
Are you
still
serious?
get you in trouble today.
You know,
believe
and
it or
still
not.
today at 66, you know, no, don't call me out of my name. Don't call me out of character, because that's not the kind of woman that I am, you know. But the younger women today, they seem to accept that. It's okay. Yeah, it doesn't bother them or anything. So I don't know. We
Well,
have
that's
to do
what
a
we
lot.
come in, where we have to keep that standard up for them, because they need role models where, you know, they can see that. Who do they have for their role models?
Right.
Unfortunately, they don't have the right people with maybe, you know, with the right image. So we have to, you know.
Well, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we have to be
Yes,
out there
yes.
constantly.
We got a
We
lot of
have
work to do.
and those of us that are older, we shouldn't be acting like that either.
Right. That's
Now
right.
you see, you know, well, I tell my age, you know, I'm almost 60, and I see women my age group acting like that. Don't you think you're a little bit too old for that?
Right,
now?
right.
You know what I mean? So we have to keep the standard up for them, so they can see that. You know, I thank God when I was growing up, we had those church mothers.
Yeah.
That's taught us how to be young ladies, how to sit, how to dress. And I can remember my mother putting a book on my head because she said I was walking slumped over. And she would say, no, you are a young lady. You have to walk like a young lady. I used to have to walk back and forth with that book on my head. And
Oh,
she
that's
was
where that walk comes from.
that's where my walk comes from. And then she would say, put your shoulders back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everybody thought I was putting on a walk when I was growing up, but that's how I was taught.
Right.
And then when I got in the military, they taught you how to stand up straight and how to walk. And we have to tell our young women that, you know, not young people, period, you know, walk with some dignity.
Right.
Walk like you somebody.
Exactly.
And people will treat you like somebody. We
Like
got to tell our
you know.
young men, pull your pants up.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And you act like you somebody because you are somebody.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm doing my part. Meaning, when they come see my show, they're going to get inspired. They're going to get inspired to do and learn more about their people. Because you'd be surprised how many people that's under 30 don't know who this is.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Now they know it now because they was it Netflix?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Had the story
yeah,
out.
had the story.
Right.
Outside of that, they look at this and say, "Who that?" And then you 30 and you don't know who that is.
Right, right.
So my goal again is to make these people come alive. So whoever sees it will say, "Yeah."
And understand who
Yes.
they are, you know, and why they play such big parts in our culture today.
Yep.
You know, and that's so very important, because where are the books?
See, I'm trying to stay away from the topic, but that's what they're doing now. They are trying, the books that they do have that deals with what happened to us as a people, they calling those books bad, and they're taking them out of the schools. Now that's just one part of what they're trying to do. So they're confusing CRT with Black history.
Right.
CRT, critical race theory is just that, a theory. History is reality.
Right.
So now you don't want us to talk about what you guys did to us because you make the other guy feel bad. I'm sorry, you just gotta, because y'all keep,
he want to keep it clear. He want to keep it clean. Let's talk about the real deal, right?
I can remember when my son was in school, they wanted to teach something called Ebonics. You remember that?
yes.
And it was supposed to be the Black English. And I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing that I ever heard. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know, there is no such thing as Black English.
Right.
You know, you teach my son English.
Exactly.
No, it was a slur.
It was just, you know, that was just the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. What in the world was Ebonics?
Something someone made up and decided they was gonna give it to us.
And that's what I mean. We don't accept things like that. You don't
Right,
accept
right.
those things.
And it starts with each person, each parent, each father, each son, each daughter, to teach. You teach one, you reach one. You
Right.
reach one, you teach one. And then as we learn what they're trying to make us forget, we'll understand about movement and memory. As we move through this life, this settler community that we're living in, we cannot forget what went down.
Right.
Like, you may not like it, and look, I get that. Well, I didn't do it. Well, you benefited from it, so don't do that.
Right.
Don't
right.
try to put it off. Well, I never owned slaves. I never did nothing. Well, okay, fine, you didn't. But the bottom line is, you benefit from it.
Exactly. Exactly. So, if someone wanted to get tickets for this event,
Yeah, no tickets.
would they be okay?
It's open to the public.
It's open to the public.
Now, I am a starving artist, so if y'all want to leave a donation,
And so if someone wanted to reach you because they want you to do some artwork for them, how would they reach you?
you know, I'm prepared for everything except that.
I mean, they can email you.
Thank you. Yes, my Facebook handle is ChurchDude2020. My email is TyroneFloyd11@gmail.com. I'll send you some information you can put on your site
Okay.
if they want to do that. Because I want to, my goal is not to sell pictures. My goal is to memorialize people that I see every
Make
day.
them aware.
So,
Well, we definitely want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing your artwork and your event that's coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a wonderful thing, you know, that somebody's taking the initiative, you know, to go back and dig into the culture and show what our culture is all about. So thank you so much, and we appreciate
thank you for having me.
you know, you coming on Sister Strengthening Sisters. We're going to be back with another special guest in just a little bit, so just sit back, relax a while, and remember, don't even think about touching that dial, but keep it set right here with Sister Strengthening Sisters. I'm your host, Lady D, along with my co-host, Dr. Elder Lois.